get into our next game. South Carolina at Tennessee. Wow. Okay, so over under 62. The South Carolina scored like 62 on them last year, didn't they?
It's actually gone up to 63.5, but
Yes.
still.
So last year, everybody remembers South Carolina just absolutely tore Tennessee apart. Um, and this was the game that their quarterback,
Hooker.
yeah, old Hooker, Hendon Ho, uh, this was the game that he blew his knee out, but it had nothing to do with that. It that was in the like the third, fourth quarter. That was like when this game was already out of hand. Tennessee could not stop South Carolina, man. And honestly, if I'm taking a side on this one, I'm taking South Carolina plus 12 and a half here.
Mm.
I'm I am not a believer in this Tennessee team right now. I am not a believer in South Carolina either, but I don't know, man. It is going to be a really tough road environment for the Gamecocks. Tennessee, speaking from somebody who's been there in person, that place can get loud, and that's when Tennessee sucked. And they knew that Georgia was about to kick their ass, right? And they're still loud and giving me a hard time in there. I like to had to move seats because they dislike that color red so much. But that's a really loud place. And what time is this game played at? This is at 7:30 p.m. It's going to be a night game on the river. Going to be a little cool out there. It's going to be feeling like fall in college football. And those Tennessee fans are going to be letting South Carolina have it after what happened last year. But South Carolina really struggles to run the ball, but they've got a secret weapon, and his name's Spencer Rattler. And between Spencer Rattler and this receiving core, I can see them having a lot of success on this really, really shoddy Tennessee secondary, and really kind of makes for an overall shoddy defense that Tennessee's got. They're better against the run than they are the pass, and that's been the case for the last couple years. They were really bad against the pass last year. One of the worst pass defenses in all the nation last year, bottom 10. And I haven't seen a ton of improvement with my eyes, and we'll pull the numbers up here in a second. Maybe they're a little better than what they were. I haven't even looked at them yet because I got such a feel on Tennessee at this point that I feel confident that I could take South Carolina plus the 12 and a half. I'm going to leave it alone just because of the mere fact that South Carolina, there's a 0% chance they're going to be able to run the football in this game because they haven't been able to run the football even against like North Carolina this year. So it's going to be on Spencer Rattler's shoulders again, but that hasn't stopped him for throwing for about 300 yards a game this year. I mean, this guy, I've never seen somebody get hit so many times and get back up and then throw a 20-yard pass. This guy's tough as nails, and Spencer Rattler is a story of a quarterback who has really grown up in front of our eyes and has really become a leader of the South Carolina offense. And I have to say, honestly, I'm kind of rooting for him at this point because he's in a tough situation in a South Carolina offense that has no offensive line whatsoever. Let's pull up the stats and we'll take a little look see here. Yeah, passing offense 340 yards a game. So that's all Spencer Rattler and these two wide receivers that they got, Juice Wells and Leggett. These guys are very dynamic, and if they can figure out a way to just get them the ball on the outside and let them make plays against this Tennessee team and spread them out, I think they stand a pretty good chance of giving Tennessee a run for their money. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If Juice Wells can stay healthy, stay on the field,
Yeah.
that's been kind of his biggest issue. But breaking this down, I mean, South Carolina's rushing offense is 128th in the country, which is almost last. That's really, really bad, and it's not going to get any better, right?
It's an offensive line problem. It's not a running
Yeah,
back problem.
it is.
You know?
It is. I don't think that Marshawn Lloyd would be able to average more than 3 yards a carry.
There's a
with
reason
this
he
offensive
left.
line. Exactly. Exactly. So, also sacks allowed at 17. That's 127th. Passing defense 129th. So these are all bottom 1% categories in all of college football. So not very good statistically for an SEC team to be playing like this. It makes for a very uh, you know tough. It makes it hard. And South Carolina's got one of the toughest schedules in college football.
Year in and
So
year out. Yeah.
yeah, so they've got some a tough road to hoe, and this just doesn't make it any better. But it really comes down to their offensive line. Outside of that, they're not that bad. You could look at their pass defense. Okay, 129th in the country. That's their rushing defense is okay. They've had 9 sacks on the year, which is pretty good. So I would say that that's probably on the secondary to be giving up 317 yards per game. It's a lot of yards. But I don't think that Tennessee is really equipped, despite what you might believe. I don't think that Tennessee is really equipped to take advantage of that. As you might think that this version of Tennessee spreads you out and then wants to run it down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They want to spread you out to kind of get your guys out of the box and run the ball up the middle, and you've got to really commit to loading that box up and playing man on the outside.
Yeah.
Now maybe that works to their favor. Maybe they pass the ball better this game because South Carolina doesn't have the dudes to play on the outside.
Yeah.
So just kind of breaking this down here, but I do think that Tennessee's going to be able to win this game. I could see South Carolina covering. I'm just statistically, man, this is my gut tells me South Carolina, but I honestly could not bet. I was over here thinking about putting South Carolina as the best bet to cover, but I would stay the hell away from this game because, like I said, statistically, it does not play in South Carolina's favor, and
Yeah.
that's kind of just how I feel about it. It's a little bit of head versus heart kind of feeling for me. I think that Tennessee's a pretty bad offense this year.
Yeah.
I think that they've improved on defense, which is a little disheartening if you're a Tennessee fan. But that they've done some good things, particularly in their rush defense. Allowed less than 3 yards per carry. That's a pretty good from what I remember from last year. I think that's a little bit of an improvement there. And then obviously they're running the ball a lot better. They're playing towards their strengths. And they've got a pretty good offensive line. I think that it really boils down to Joe Milton and his inability to hit the middling sort of balls, and he hasn't even been that much of a deep threat. I don't know if they're just not allowing him to throw downfield as much, or if he's just incapable of hitting downfield accurately. We all know he can throw it 90 yards, but
when the receiver's 82 out,
that's right.
It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Look, when Florida and Tennessee played the other week, I came up with a couple rules for each of these teams. Florida, if they want to win, they can't turn the ball over. They have to be efficient. Tennessee, if they want to win, I think they need to rush the ball for 175 yards or more. If they don't hit that 175 to 200 mark rushing the ball, I don't think this Tennessee team is hardly a threat to beat anybody in conference anyway. So that's what I think is going to come down to in this game. Which one is the unstoppable force, or which one is the immovable object here? And if South Carolina can play some rush defense and hold them to 150 yards or so, or 100 yards rushing, I think South Carolina stands a really good chance of winning this game. I don't think Tennessee is able to even set up their offense whatsoever if they can't effectively run the football. And they've done that this year, and most of their wins, I mean, let's just be real about it. They haven't beat anybody good. I mean, Virginia is god awful. They started off with a Power 5 team, but it's Virginia for God's sake. There ain't a team with a pulse in the state of Virginia hardly. So I am that's what I want to watch. I want to see the South Carolina rush defense against this rushing attack of Tennessee. I think this is a bad matchup for Tennessee. The more I look at it, I just don't think this is a great matchup for them. You're trying to actually kind of do the one thing that South Carolina defense is decent at. And I think that the the passing defense for Tennessee, I know that it says they're 37th. I don't think they're the 37th best passing defense in the nation. I
Yeah.
think they're probably more in the 60 to 70 range. And I think that's probably what we'll see as the year goes on. And I think that's a bad matchup with Spencer Rattler. This dude, I'm telling you, he's on one this year, man. And just like he finished the year on one last year.
Yep.
So I think that's a key to victory for Tennessee is if they can rush the ball for around 200 yards. I think they'll be successful. If South Carolina can hold them to, let's say, 150 yards or under rushing, then I think they stand a damn good chance of winning this football game right here.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
This is one, if you really just have a few bucks that you're willing to put out there, put it on the money line. You know, I could definitely see it going that way, and it'd be a huge upset, especially back to back, years. Shane Beamer would
Yeah.
love that. He
Yeah.
needs a win. Again, he's got a gauntlet of a schedule still yet in front of him, so he needs to find a way to win in one of these games that he shouldn't. So
I hear that he had a local Knoxville hot dog joint. He ordered a bunch of hot dogs for the team meal for Tennessee. He's hoping it's going to slow them down, just like it did the officials in the game the other day. He's hoping the Frank's hot dogs are going to work out. I wonder if South Carolina has an official hot dog sponsor.
Well, they should now.
Because if I was him, that would have been a good time to just brand drop right there.